Hey everybody, Economic Ninja here, hope you're doing well. I was actually reading a story about gold battling that $1,800 level. It made me think about a situation we have brewing right now. You see, a lot of people, you have your cryptocurrency investors and your precious metals investors. What I found is there's a big battle. A lot of precious metals investors freak out. They don't understand crypto, yet everyone I know that's into crypto was once, and it still is, a believer in the fundamentals of gold and silver, precious metals. When it comes to what's going on in the world right now and how valuable both are, because they're totally, completely different, but we're gonna be talking about gold right now. See, gold right now is battling these key resistance levels. And I hear it all the time, like gold's gonna go to 1,500 or 1,600 or 1,700. I'm gonna be honest with you, I could care less. Because throughout history, anytime there's tension in the world, especially inflation, gold performs great. However, it always seems to be the last of the party. Why? Because people don't understand that once they figure out that there is a problem with inflation, that's when they go and do something about it. And even then, it takes quite a time for the herds to run in and rush into gold. And that speculation, that speculative bubble that everyone's been waiting for to just take off. Inflation was running wild for multiple years in the late 70s until all of a sudden you saw gold and silver go, hey, hold my drink, watch this, and they took off. And it's because of human reaction time. Reaction time is so important. It's more than just the amount of braking you need when you're driving down the freeway, depending on the road conditions and the time of day because of your eyesight, because it takes so long for all of that information to translate to your brain. Well, the same thing happens with gold. And the facts are, even as in the recent past of the Great Recession, when we had the gold start to run up, but before it ran up, it was running up multiple years before 2008 happened. But then the paper price started to collapse. But it didn't collapse, actually. What happened was we had a liquidity event. Worldwide, fund managers for 6 months to a year were trying to raise money. So they were doing whatever they could to sell the assets they had to raise money because they had gotten themselves so deep into margin debt. So the paper price dropped. But what happened to the physical price? The price over spot skyrocketed. We also saw that in 2015, 2016, where the price over spot for both silver and gold exploded. It didn't matter what happened to the paper price, all right? Now, the facts of the matter are there's tons of technical people out there, and I'll link a story if I remember about this. If I can remember this one, I'll link it in the description below, talking about the fundamentals of gold, the technicals, oh, look, it's this pennant pattern, but they don't understand that emotion is totally different than what's going on in the paper markets. And that's why I say I don't care. I look at gold as a hedge against uncertainty. And this isn't financial advice. Of course, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a dude with a bro hawking a dream with my back that's extremely warm right now. My point being is that you have to look at it as every little bit, and this is how I look at it with my wealth. I have a certain amount of my wealth in gold and silver. I also have a certain amount of my wealth in cryptocurrencies. Why? Because I know that I want to buy something when the herd isn't into it. I like it when it's not loved. But here's the thing, and here's the last part of this video if you made it this far. This is the golden goose, pardon the expression. Because Basel III changed in June, and I want to remind you that gold before June was not a tier 1 asset, which means for banks to be able to loan out, they have reserve requirements, which means they have to hold a certain amount of money or have a certain amount of credit because of their funds in different kinds of assets, whether it be real estate, cash, bonds, and now gold is considered the highest rated asset next to government paper. And we all know what government paper is. At least if you've been watching me enough, you know what I think about it. Government paper, bonds, things like that. Treasury bills. My point being is that before that, gold was not looked at this way. And I have a very interesting theory that I believe is happening, and I don't have anything to prove this. But if banks were smart, and we all know they're not, okay? Just because they're a big company and the guys are driving around in fancy cars and they're flying jets, just so you know, they're pretty dumb too. It's just a bunch of dudes in a room that go, okay, what are we gonna do next? Because we've seen it. If you think I'm wrong, then shoot a call to the CEO of Washington Mutual. My point being is, or Countrywide. My point being is that they do get it wrong as well. But right now, I have a feeling there's something going on behind the scenes. You see, you have government paper and gold now are considered tier 1 assets. And the new Basel requirements that are coming in a few years, they are going to up the reserve requirements, which means banks are going to have to hold more collateral on the books in order to service X amount of debt, to loan money out, right? Well, the problem is that means that lending is going to get more expensive because they're going to have to hold more money back or assets. And right now, if we see the bond market starting to falter, which we're seeing it already in China with the Evergrande collapse, wouldn't it be interesting to see banks slowly, and if you big boys are watching me right now, you're getting this for free, slowly start to take their government bonds and start to exchange those for physical bars, gold bars. But don't do it in a panic. Just buy the dips. When people are selling because of something going on over here, you're not buying paper gold. Tesla buys paper gold and physical gold now. The banks go, let's exchange out some of our paper if they're both tier 1 assets. Yeah, we get it. The gold fluctuates to the dollar, but what if we started to look at the physical price of that gold, how much that gold's worth in our vaults now? There's a real strong case for that. If banks decided, let's start slowly pulling out of paper, let's start adding gold bars. And what you're going to see is the common man is not going to see that fluctuation in price. If it's done right and you're patient, you're going to be able to suck up all the gold at today's prices, but you have to be patient. China's been doing this for decades. Now, think about this. How you can see it is in the tightness of the market. And as you start to see shipping delays going out, more than just a supply chain issue, but you start to see where the price over spot is increasing, coupled with the fact that it's taking longer and longer to get your order, now you've got your proof because something's going on behind the scene, because none of these brilliant brokers want to be known for taking forever to get you your product. Why? Because they'd be out of business. But here's the cool thing. You could call up any of the brokers right now, and they're all having supply issues. They're all having issues getting the stock into their vaults to get it to you. So this isn't just a 1 or 2 off situation. So I wanted to give you guys something to think about, as far as the gold story, because I think there's a lot going on behind the scenes, and I believe in God's money. I believe gold and silver is God's money, and I believe that cryptocurrencies, solid ones like Bitcoin, Digibyte, Litecoin, there's some awesome token projects out there, but that's really money for the people. And trust me, I do believe there's going to be a day where we see that price absolutely skyrocket. But that doesn't mean you got to go dive in straight in. Take it easy. Be well diversified in many different asset classes. Play it smart. Don't be controlled by emotions, and you guys are absolutely going to crush it. So with that being said, I thank you so much. The Economic Ninja is out while I turn this off.